I would prioritize work over my classes or over things that might have been a better focus for me at the time. It is just a job and you are still a student. That's just how it goes. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I will introduce myself really quick. My name is Maria. I am a college student. I'm a senior at Texas A&M University. I study communication and media, so I typically do a lot of college and lifestyle videos. In addition to that, I also work 2 jobs, and at one time I also had 2 jobs and like an internship on the side. I was doing that my junior year. So that is what this video is about. It's all about how I've managed to balance working in college while doing YouTube and maintaining a social life, managing like my hobbies and stuff that I do take more seriously, because I know that that applies to more than just me. So yeah, I've been working since I was a sophomore, like my entire sophomore, junior, and now senior year. I've been working 2 jobs for sure. And then, like I said, my junior year, I had another like internship that I had to dedicate not as much time as my everyday jobs, but extra time that I was getting paid for. So lucky that I had that opportunity to do that. It was super awesome. Summer going into my sophomore year, I got hired on at the rec center to work in marketing and communications, and there I do like social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I started with Snapchat, that was my first thing. We also do Facebook, and I've done pretty much all of the platforms by now, and now Instagram is like my main thing. We do tabling events and things that like we want the rec to be at. So that's like new student conferences. We're there as the rec center to answer questions and promote our programs and stuff like that. And then I do like a host of other things like behind the scenes. Organize contests, work kind of alongside sponsors and like do stuff for them, engaging with our patrons, and always trying to just promote like health and wellness through rec sports is pretty much the gist of my job. But it's mostly social media marketing, and that's why I'm trying to pursue a Master's of Science in Marketing. A lot of you don't know that. I haven't talked a lot about that on my channel. So if you are new, that's new information for pretty much everyone, including myself. So I'm in the midst of applying for all that stuff. That's pretty much my rec job. And then I also work for athletics, and I'm primarily a photographer. I've done other stuff here and there like social media, but primarily I am with a camera in my hands at events, working in those environments of sporting events that the teams have. So like recruiting stuff, or their banquets and stuff like that, or like their photo days. So when they just come and they take all those really cool pictures, I help with all of that. So I've done football, tennis, softball, women's basketball, actually women's and men's basketball, soccer. So that's kind of the rundown of my jobs. I won't talk too much about them, but now you know what I'm doing when I'm at my jobs. As far as what it's like, I honestly feel so fortunate to have had the experience of being a full-time student and working on the side, because one, it's an awesome way to earn your own money and not be as dependent on whatever your financial source is. So like for me personally, I've been able to work sophomore, junior, and now like through the present. So I feel really good and independent for having my own money, having earned it. I pay my own selective bills. So I'm responsible for my like electric bill, or like my utilities that go along with the house that I live in now. I've been paying them on my own since I was a sophomore. So that includes like Wi-Fi, trash, water, electricity, stuff like that. I also have a credit card, so whenever I use that just to build up my credit, I am responsible for paying those on my own as well. And then anytime I get like HelloFresh or something, or anytime I like buy myself clothes, like that's me. Buying groceries is typically like an expense that I cover myself, just because I'm able to. It just comes out of my own account. It's kind of like that feeling of financial freedom and like independence that I've had throughout college, which I feel like has helped me and boost my confidence, and also made me more responsible. So like, for example, when I bought my AirPods, I bought them myself and I saved up, and I was like, hey, this next paycheck, like I am going to buy these AirPods with it, because I really want them. I don't really expect anyone to buy them for me, but I want to buy them for myself. I take care of them, because that was $160 that I paid to buy those AirPods, which is like an unnecessary expense, but I wanted it and I worked for it. So I was able to do that. In a sense, it has made me more responsible with my money, question mark. Obviously there's impulse buys. I'm ridiculous sometimes. Sometimes I'm really good about saving, and I'll be really, really good for a while. And then the minute that I like slip up, it's just like a domino effect, and I just spend a lot at once. But both of my jobs are part-time. I don't think I've mentioned that. And I think they've both been really good about teaching me kind of how to forecast my expenses and just be really mindful about what I'm spending my money on, why I'm spending it, and when I'm going to spend it. So just being mindful of all of those things. I know, okay, I have this money coming in, I need to allocate that towards this bill, or now I'm gonna treat myself and I can actually go shopping and like buy myself a couple of things. If I want a new pair of shoes, like I can budget that out in a sense. I'm working more on actually doing like real budgets, monthly budgets, as I get older. But I think like at the base of like just paying attention to like where your money is going to is a really good start, and that has really further developed since I've been in college, even though I did work prior to college as well. Second thing is definitely probably the biggest thing too, prioritizing your time and time management. Big buzzwords and phrases there, but working in college really does, because you come into college and you're like, I have all this time. And I do have friends that don't have a job. They tend to obviously have freer schedules because they're not at a job for, I don't know, 2 to 6 hours a day, or 2 to 6 hours per week, or, you know, just part-time. So accounting for that time that you're going to be at your job, or that you know you have to dedicate to your job, is really important. And it goes into looking at what your days look like, what your weeks look like, what you have coming up, because the job is like another thing that you have to think about. Like whenever you have a job, you're on someone else's time 100%. And I'm lucky that both of my jobs are pretty flexible. I typically work during the days during the week, and then like during the school days, like so anywhere from 8 to 5 during the week, and then on weekends it's usually like in the evenings, because that's when sporting events are. They can really happen whenever, but typically that's when they fall. 7, 8, 6, 5, those sort of hours. So if I'm looking at Sunday, I know that like I have to get studying done before then or after the time that I need to be at the event, which is typically, if it's like a 7 p.m. game, I'm gonna be there from like at least 5:30 to like maybe 8 or something like that. I'm just like throwing out random blocks of time. And then during the weekdays, I typically study at night, because during the day I didn't have time to study because I was at work. So if that makes sense. So it's just kind of like, it really affects the way that your days roll out and the way that they look. I know my schedule is not available during that time because I'm going to be at this job. So like I have to schedule my social stuff around it. Most importantly, I have to schedule my academics around it. So that's just how my days are. I wake up, I go to class, typically like midday, like anywhere from like 9 to 2 is when I have class. Then after that I'm working. And then after that I'm like dinner, workout, and then study. That's just how it goes. So it's honestly really honed my skills of looking ahead and planning ahead and knowing when I have to be where and at what time and for what. So just like the whole planning aspect of it, which I find really fun just because of the type of person that I am. But I know for others like might not have necessarily had to do that before, and it's definitely a skill to learn, but it's so valuable in the workplace, like in your future career. So I think working in college definitely is a great thing to step into if you're looking to do that, or if you know you want like some more structure in your life. Definitely adds that structure, because it's another thing, another task, another demand that you have to do. But hopefully you like it, and if you're getting paid, like that's also the plus. Like you have to remember that work is work and you're getting paid for it. I didn't realize that I was starting again. So all of these are really big and important things. And another one that I actually just thought of is that working in college has definitely taught me the importance of networking. And we always hear that thrown around, especially if you're in college, you know what I'm talking about. It seems like every professor or everyone, every recruiter at career fair is always talking about networking, and it's like, what is that? And what does that even look like? How do I network? How do I build my network? And especially at A&M, I'm just speaking from experience, like one of the big things and one of the big traditions and one of the big pluses that they say from going to A&M specifically is the benefits of the Aggie network, which is true. It's very alive and well and thriving. I will say that, like, Aggies help other Aggies. That's all I'll say about that. If you know, you know. The importance of networking. It's something that I personally have struggled with, because when I think of networking, I think of like small talk. I think of get me an internship, get me a job, that kind of a thing. And it doesn't have to be that kind of approach. I think working in college has given me the ability and my own small network that has really developed organically and naturally through my relationships with my coworkers and my colleagues. I've been really fortunate to only pursue opportunities that I feel like are going to help me in my future career. And that's another one of my biggest tips is, if you can and if you know what you want to do, try to find something that aligns with your work experience. Like for me, I know that I want to work in something in the digital sphere or the media sphere. So I was looking for stuff like social media, communication, blah, 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 something that really aligns with my major. I'm not saying that being a waiter or a waitress or a bartender at a restaurant is not a hustle. And I'm not saying that you're not gonna get great skills from that, because obviously you get great people skills, great time management skills, great prioritization skills, great just like having to think and do a lot of stuff at once. Great skills, of course. I just was really keen ever since my sophomore year, even going all the way back, my sophomore year. I was like, no, I'm in college. I know where I'm trying to go as far as the field goes, and I know the direction that I'm wanting to go. And that for me has not changed. I think I'm really lucky. It has not changed. So I've just been really fortunate to like have these jobs and like have stuck with them and added some here and there with internships throughout the years. I think it's really important if you do have that same sort of like direction, you know, it can just be just in the broader field. It doesn't have to be exactly like, oh, I want to be a surgeon, so I need to work at a hospital and shadow a surgeon. Like, no, it doesn't have to be like you're a protege of exactly what you want to be when you grow up. Back to the networking thing. I'm sorry, I just went on its biggest tangent ever. I think that a lot of my friends, yes, are from my extracurricular organizations, but I have a lot of friends from my job too, or my jobs too. And I think that's just awesome. Like, I'm so fortunate because I know those people are probably gonna go into something that's very similar or just the same sort of broader field as me. And I have a good relationship, a good authentic relationship with them that I can call them up, keep up with them, whatever in the future. And I'm like not worried about those relationships that I've made because they are real and they are authentic. If you're working in something in a field where you know that you're gonna be around other students or even other people like your boss or your supervisor that might be managing you, they also know people in the business. They've been working in that field. Chances are they're not brand new. If they're your supervisor, if they're your superior, they're gonna also have other connections. So like if you're able to make and really cultivate those authentic relationships, that is a great way and my preferred way to network, like just kind of organically. I hate small talk, and so many times in college there have been like organizations that I've been in where I'm just like, why do I feel like I have to go and mingle just to do it? Like I hate unmotivated speech. Like I don't like walking up to someone and just being like, yeah, how's the weather? Like just so they know my name or something and maybe remember me. Like it's a very hard thing to navigate, and I think putting yourself in a situation where it can happen organically, where it's more likely to, is the best thing to do. So that is another big plus about working in college and something that I feel like I've really benefited from having my part-time jobs in college. So the last thing I'll say about working in college, and this is only because it's happened to me, even though both my jobs are part-time, I do always try to put my best foot forward, and I know a lot of you guys would too. Who doesn't want to do good at their job? They're getting paid for it. Like you want to feel like you're making a positive contribution to wherever you work. It feels good to do good. You know what I mean? That's that kind of idea. And I feel like a lot of us just as humans are wired that way. With that being said, I have found on multiple semesters that like work began to consume me, and sort of I would prioritize work over my classes or over things that might have been a better focus for me at the time. That has happened to me more than once, especially when I was doing that thing where I had an internship and was doing my photography, and then I was also doing my work. And that's not to say anything bad about the tasks that I have to do at any of my jobs. I am so fortunate for all of my opportunities, and I love my jobs, and I literally feel so grateful for them. I think it was just the pressure that I was putting on myself. So I'm just saying, like, if you do jump into working part-time in college, or it's something that you have to do just for financial reasons and financial circumstances, I think bringing yourself back to the idea of, and the truth is that like, it is just a job and you are still a student. We have the rest of our lives to work. This is literally what I've said to myself. I have the rest of my life to work a full-time job. If it just comes to like something being really, really extra that you're thinking about doing, or you feel like you have to do, or some sort of pressure that you're putting on yourself, and like going to get food with your friends, or going to the movie with your friends, or studying for a test that you have tomorrow, like you have to be able to communicate, let people know, and hopefully they'll be willing to work with you, because your job should not always be taking preface over your other things that you really value. If that is your family, your friends, your social life at the time, if it's like a really important social event, Like, you're in college to learn about all these different things in the world, not just your job and not just your future career. Yes, that's the whole point, is to get a degree, you know, like really try to like get yourself ahead of the game and prepare yourself as much as you can. But there is such a balance to be learned, and I'm still learning it. There's like no perfect way to tell you how to find that balance. It's just like, if you ever feel like super overwhelmed in your job, because I have before, it just with like the weight of everything, and also, like I said, the pressure that I put on myself to do well and to be always available, it's not always the smartest thing for you, and it's not going to be good for your mental health. It's a really good way to get burnt out, which that has happened to me before, and I just had to take like a step back in the summer. And even just a little bit during the semester, change my hours so that I could better manage everything else that was going on with school, with family, with everything else. If that's something that you're worried about, know that yes, it is going to be a challenge, but at the end of it, you will come out of it more knowledgeable, more confident in your ability to juggle different things, to balance different things. I think overall, working college, a part-time job, especially if it's something that you see yourself working in, a field that you see yourself working in, such a positive experience. I have honestly nothing but good things to say about that, other than my little cautionary thing that I just told you. Just be aware that like it can get to a point, and it has for me, where it can be too much. And it's okay to be able to dial it back a second. Realize, okay, what can I do? How can I, you know, better fit these things so that I'm not freaking out because I have so many things to do, or I just don't foresee myself being able to do all of what is being asked of me. So many people are willing to help you. I'm willing to help you. Send me questions if you like. I hope you guys liked this video. You will always come back better, stronger, more knowledgeable, more confident in your abilities. Like, for example, this literally happened to me earlier this semester. I was trying to go to my rec job every day, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it got to a point like a few weeks in, about a month in, I was like, I don't really know if I could do this anymore. Like, I need to have some sort of break to do all of my other stuff. It wasn't really working with my schedule pretty much. So I communicated what was going on, changed my hours, nixed that up, and we are thriving ever since. So always remember that I'm here to ask questions too. I would love to answer your questions. So leave a comment down below if you want to know more about what working college looks like. But I've been wanting to make this video for the longest time. Again, this is just my experience. Hopefully this has helped someone out there. That's all I'm really trying to do. I know that everyone's kind of work experience looks different, working circumstances look different. Tried to cover as much as I could with my own personal knowledge, but definitely if you guys have questions, make sure to leave them in a comment down below, or you can ask them. You can DM me on Instagram or Twitter. My @name is @MariaInCage. I'll put it on the screen right there. For both of them, so check me out on there. Yeah, that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys liked it. As always, if you vibe, don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys back on my channel for my next video. See you guys next time. Bye.